All right, let's talk about something really fascinating today, a field that's basically blurring the lines between your kitchen pantry and your pharmacy cabinet. We're diving into the world of nutraceuticals, and it's all about that incredible intersection of food and medicine. So let's just get right to the big question, shall we? Is your food really the future of medicine? I mean, could the stuff you eat every day actually hold the key to not just feeling good, but maybe even treating and preventing diseases? It's a pretty powerful idea, right? And a lot of people are paying attention. And, it's not hard to see why this is catching on. Let's be real. Healthcare costs are going through the roof, and it feels like everyone knows someone dealing with a chronic illness, like heart disease or diabetes. So naturally, we're all starting to look for other options, more proactive, maybe more natural ways to take control of our own health. And that search for alternatives, it leads us right here, to the star of our show today. So let's break it down. What in the world are nutraceuticals? Okay, so the word itself is kind of cool. It was coined way back in 1989 by a Dr. Stephen DeFelice. He literally just mashed together nutrition and pharmaceutical, and his definition was pretty clear. It's a substance from food that gives you some kind of medical or health benefit. We're not just talking about getting your basic vitamins here. This is about food having a targeted, almost therapeutic effect. And I love this next idea because it just makes it so clear. It's like a bridge between food and medicine. Think about it that way. Nutraceuticals are the building blocks of that bridge, connecting the stuff we eat every day to the powerful effects we usually only expect from a pill. So if we're building this bridge, what are we building it with? What's in the toolbox? Because, the world of nutraceuticals is huge, so it really helps to break it down a little. Okay, so let's look inside that toolbox. We can pretty much sort everything into three big buckets. First, you've got your basic nutrients, the classics like vitamins and minerals. Then you've got herbals, which is just a fancy way of saying extracts from plants. And finally, there's this huge catch-all category of dietary supplements. That's where you find things like probiotics for your gut or omega-3s. Now, this is where it gets really cool, because it stops being some abstract sciencey concept. These aren't weird chemicals made in a lab somewhere. We're talking about powerful compounds in foods you probably have in your fridge right now. That bright red color in tomatoes. That's lycopene, a super powerful antioxidant. That stuff in your morning oatmeal that helps with cholesterol. That's beta-glucan. See, you're probably already eating nutraceuticals every day and didn't even know it. And all this interest, well, it's not just a small trend. It has absolutely exploded. We're talking about a massive global industry. Get ready for this number. By 2018, the global market for this stuff was already worth $250 billion. Yes, billion with a B. And a number that big isn't just about sales figures. It signals a huge shift in how we think about health. We're moving away from just treating sickness to actively preventing it. It's about putting more power into our own hands. So if we bring it closer to home and look at the US, where is all that money going? Well, the biggest chunk is in what we call functional foods. Think about orange juice with extra calcium or yogurt with probiotics. Right behind that are dietary supplements, the pills and powders. So why this explosion? What's driving it? Well, it all comes back to what we talked about at the beginning. We're all more health conscious now, right? We're looking for ways to stay healthy instead of just waiting to get sick. We're dealing with more chronic diseases, and, well, we've got an aging population that wants to stay healthy and active for as long as possible. Okay, but, and this is a really big but, with all this excitement, there's a really important part of the story that often gets ignored, and that's safety. We absolutely have to talk about the hidden dangers. And this is the single most important thing to remember. Natural does not mean safe. It just doesn't. These things work because they are biologically active. They change things in your body. But that also means they can mess with other medications you might be taking. And this is where it gets tricky, because a lot of these supplements live in this weird regulatory gray area. They don't go through the same intense testing for safety that prescription drugs do. Let's look at a real-world and, frankly, pretty scary example. You've got Ginkgo Biloba, something a lot of people take for memory. Then you have plain old aspirin, which tons of people take as a blood thinner. Here's the problem. Ginkgo also thins your blood, so if you take them together, you could be massively increasing your risk for dangerous bleeding. Not good. And it's not a one-off thing. Here's another super common one, St. John's wort. People use it for mild depression. But it can seriously interfere with how your body handles a whole bunch of other drugs, including prescription antidepressants. And that can go one of two ways. Either your prescription stops working as well, or its side effects get cranked up to a dangerous level. So, what does all this mean for you? What's the bottom line? It's actually really simple, but it is so important. Before you add any new supplement to your routine, you have to talk to your doctor or your pharmacist. They're the ones who get how all this stuff can interact, and they can help you navigate it all safely. And that really leaves us with a huge question to think about, doesn't it? As that line between the kitchen and the pharmacy gets blurrier and blurrier, who's in charge of our safety? Is it the government, the companies making these products, your doctor? Or ultimately, is it up to us? It's a lot to consider. Thanks for tuning in.